Hello and welcome to our SOL review of A.05a, Solving Inequalities. Now, this is very similar to A.4d, Solving Equations. However, the difference is when you're dealing with inequalities, sometimes it's represented a little bit differently with a graph, and also there's something else that happens with this whole sign flip thing, and we'll talk about it, but we're going to actually do the same procedure. Clean up the left side, clean up the right side, then start working on both sides together. So what we're going to do, take a look at our first inequality. We got negative 4x minus 10 is greater than or equal to negative 6x plus 4. Now, I'm going to be lazy about this and just go ahead and get rid of the 4x because it just showed up first. Now, it doesn't matter which one I wanted to get rid of. I could have got rid of negative 6x as long as I did the opposite to cancel it out. So negative positive, that's going to go away. We're going to be left with negative 10 is greater than or equal to negative 2x plus 4. And we're going to go ahead and proceed business as normal. We're going to subtract 4 from both sides. So negative 14 is greater than or equal to negative 2x. Here is where the new part of inequalities really kicks in. Up here I wrote sign flip, and I put a negative sign in between sign flip. And I also put the two operators multiply and divide. That's because whenever you multiply or divide an inequality by a negative, the sign flips. And that's exactly what we're about to do. We're going to divide by a negative. So I need to remember the first thing I should probably do is flip the sign. So this will become 7, and this will become x. Now sometimes the question can be presented to you. It wouldn't start with the number. A lot of times it'll actually start with the variable. So I personally, both are pretty acceptable answers, but we're going to go ahead and box it, and I'm going to show you the other way it would be written. So you could write it as 7 is less than or equal to x, or if you just kind of turn everything around, like if you were to basically take the paper and turn it, what you would really end up with is x is greater than or equal to 7. I know what you're saying, like, hey, wait a minute, we just flipped the sign to get to that, and we flipped it back. Well, you flipped it here because it was a negative, but if you want to think of it this way, the monster always eats the bigger thing, so it's eating x, so over here the monster's still eating x. So when we turned it around, we just wanted to make sure everything was proper. Alright, so taking a look at this other one, let's do one more practice before we tackle an SOL question. So again, I've got 9 minus 4x, I got greater than, and 3x minus 16. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the negative. I just think it's going to be easier. So we're going to go ahead and make that positive 4x. We're going to add that to both sides. So we're going to get 9, that's the only thing left on that side, 7x minus 16. We're going to go ahead and add 16 to both sides. So that'll give us 25 is greater than 7x. And to finish it off, we're going to divide both sides by 7. Now, since I'm dividing by a positive, nothing happens to the sign. So it's actually, our answer is going to be 25 over 7. But again, it's not really proper to write it this way, so what we're going to do is flip everything around. The monster was eating the bigger number, so it was eating 25 over 7. So when I flip it around, it still better be eating 25 over 7. Now, you might actually be asked to represent this on a number line, which if that's the case, that's fine. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how that would work for this problem. It's a little bit easier to represent non-fractions or integers in this case. So here's what you might see when you go to represent this on a number line. It says x is greater than or equal to 7. So let's pretend 7 is right there, so that would make this 9, that would make this 5. I just kind of picked the numbers a little, but it's important that I made sure I picked 7. Since it has the equal to bar, we're going to put a dot and we're going to fill it in on 7. So we want to fill it in because it can be equal to 7, meaning if I end up with the number 7, that's true. 7 is greater than or equal to 7. If it didn't have this bar underneath, like our other problem over here, so like 1 is less than 25 over 7. That's true. But what if I made this 25 over 7? This is no longer true because 25 over 7 is not less than 25 over 7. All right. Now, x is greater than or equal to 7. Well, all the numbers going this way are greater than 7. So our arrow should go this way. So if they ask you to graph it, that's how you would do it. Let's take a look now at an SOL question. So, this is a TEI question, a technology enhanced item. Christopher incorrectly solved an inequality as shown. Between which two consecutive steps did Christopher make a mistake? So what we're doing is we're trying to figure out where did his error occur. And what I like to do with these is kind of stare at the first two steps and really figure out what happened so I kind of get a good sense of what they should do. Some teachers even say, hey, why don't you just do the steps down the side? Well, we can do it. Doesn't stop us at all. So let's see. I'm just going to rewrite the problem as it appeared. So there we go. Well, the first thing I probably would have done, I actually would have distributed. But it looks like in their step, they went ahead and got rid of the positive 1. Well, we could do that. Okay, so minus 1 from both sides. I get this becomes negative 4. And that's what they got. All right, negative 4. It's not wrong. It's just doing it differently. That's fine. All right, then it looks like they distributed. Okay, well, when I distribute, I get negative 4x, a negative times a negative, that becomes positive 28 is less than or equal to negative 4. Cool, that's what they ended up with. All right, and then it looks like I should probably get rid of the 28, so I'm going to subtract 28 from both sides, just like that. All right, so we're going to get negative 4x is less than or equal to negative 32. That's still what they got. Interesting. None of the steps have been wrong so far. Usually you kind of panic at that point. You're like, am I doing this right? All right, final step. We're going to divide by negative 4. And since we're dividing by negative 4, that sign is going to become greater than or equal to. The sign has to flip. So this will become x is greater than or equal to just 8. And they got x is greater than, wait a minute, they got different signs. My sign flipped around. They never flipped their sign around. So the answer would be between step 4 and step 5. Thanks for watching.